Here at the Gilbert off-highway vehicle wreck area in Gilbert, Minnesota. Today we're just pulling up to Ted's Revenge. It's the last stop of the ultimate adventure. We're going to wheel him today and see if we can have a little carnage and a little fun.
So Lance is going to give us a little history of Ted's Revenge. You'll see Ted when you get up here. It's pretty interesting.
It's called Ted's Revenge. We're cutting the ramp in here a couple of years ago, and up popped an old miner's helmet with the name Ted on the front of it. So I told Phil to keep digging. We might find Ted, and lo and behold, here's Ted's Revenge. Changed it around since the last time Rick Pewe was here, and now they're having a little bit of a time coming through.
Well, we worked till 3:30 last night on the ultimate fix for our steering box. Tim Hardy's welds worked fine, but there was something else internal to the box. Spit out all the ball bearings, and we're toast on that. Came out to help, and boys, it's frustrating sitting out here watching these guys go through it.
Those rocks are sharp. Look at that one. That is chewed up.
This came off of that rig that just came through here. These rocks are sharp. They shred any tire.
What was that? Right front axle. With the right front getting a lot of grip, snap that huge one. Weak link.
Well, we left a pile of rubber back there, and Aaron dropped an axle joint. We're on our way out of Skull Road right now. Well, here we are heading down the trail to Lower Money Talks. Rick told me to take it easy on him for a bit, but just hang on. The carnage is coming up.
Our next trail is called Money Talks because so many people have broken here and spent so much money. A lot of rocks all through this entire area. Very angular rocks, a lot of it shale, because remember, this is an old mining area, and these are very, very tough on tires. In fact, the locals call them razor rocks.
Finally, some rocks.
Well, just came through a pretty good rock garden right there. I'm surprised to find that up here in Minnesota. Looks like I've got my daily dose of iron going on.
Hey, tires are still good though.
Oh, you're guaranteed.
Hey! Billy and Jimmy. Glad you made it,
Hey,
guys.
why are you using your winch so much?
You better watch what you say. We use little men like you for traction. I know that since you're such an avid reader, you'd gladly sacrifice your body for the truck.
Okay, tip me over, guys. It's gonna take some people because it's heavy. Okay, when it gets stable, I'll crank it through. You ready? Everybody ready? Just hold it right there.
I hope Yosemite Sam I didn't put a scratch in one of his dents.
Hold up.
Stop.
Okay, that's one way to stop.
With Money Talks behind us, it was time for a short drive to the next trailhead. Iron Range turned out to be one of the cleanest and most user-friendly parks we've ever visited, with scenic views, clearly marked trails, and even an occasional picnic table. But our breaks were short-lived because we were moving on to our last trail.
The last trail you'll be on is going to be the Virgin Trail. Rick came up and took a look at it earlier, and he kind of fell in love with it. So I said, well, you know, I think we can get some volunteers out here to cut the wood out, and you'll have her. We saved it for them. That's the best thing for Ultimate Adventure. They'd be the first ones.
With precious little daylight remaining, Rick Pewe will lead only a handful of our Ultimate Adventurers to attempt this Virgin Trail. Tim Hardy will spot for the Ultimate Tacoma as the rest of the crew looks on.
Outback. Oh. Turn to your left as you back up. Everybody on this sled.
This is a big old hunk of overburden. This stuff is real low-grade iron ore, taconite, hardly anything in it.
It won't even hold my weight.
As tradition demands, the first one to make it through this Virgin Trail gets to name it. Hot on the heels of Rick Pewe, Mike Hagan gears up for his shot at immortality. Pewe was slowly picking a line down the left side of this canyon, pursued by Mike Hagan, Tom House, Keith Bailey, and latecomer Brian Richmond. Even though Richmond arrived at the park this morning being towed behind a strap due to engine and electrical problems, he decided to give the hardest trail of the week a shot anyway. He didn't get too far before his Dodge died again, this time for good. While the Tacoma was making slow and steady progress, Keith Bailey and Tom House entered Iron Range's untested alley to see if they could play a little catch-up. That's exactly what Tom House did, challenging the Ultimate Tacoma to a slow-paced race to the finish. Relieved of his spotting duties when Pewe broke a stub shaft and began to winch up and out, Tim Hardy decided to give it one more shot, this time in the driver's seat.
Well, Rick Pewe's busted a shaft. He's sitting on the hill up there. We've got a few more boys coming through. Tim Hardy's bouncing on the hill back there, trying to get out early. We have a couple of guys. Looks like they're going to make it. And, well, I think we'll have a new name for this trail. Congratulations, Tom. You're the first one through the new trail.
I think we're gonna call this one Peterson's UA Alley.
Tim, what'd you break back there?
Just a right front bar field. I heard it crack, so I just said, time to pull out. It's dinner time, you know?
I did a boo-boo.
What happened?
Well, I put a really big rock right here in the middle, and all the tires came off the ground, and the shift lever went up through the floor and bent the cross member, and basically it pulled my drive shafts out and got her stuck in too low. So I took the shift lever out trying to shift it manually, but when there's no drive shafts hooked up, it doesn't really help. It'll be fine if I can just get the drive shaft back in, get her into too high, and I'll just drive her.
Now that's the attitude of a hardcore wheeler. After a week of busted, broken parts, it was time to load up what was left of our rigs and watch the Great Lakes region disappear in our rearview mirrors.
Okay, it's been a week of Ultimate Adventure. We went about 1,830 miles, both on and off-road. Plus, we drove to the start of the adventure from Los Angeles. That was a couple thousand miles right there with our Ultimate Adventure Tacoma. The truck did really well. We didn't have the problems we had last year. It's a much lighter, faster, stronger little truck. We're on the Ultimate Adventure. I'm Fred Williams from Peterson's 4-Wheel and Off-Road magazine. I was in charge of getting this year's truck, the Ultimate Tacoma, built, and we're cruising down the road in it right now. I'll give you a little overview of all the things we did to it. This truck is a 2001 Toyota Tacoma. The axles are from Dynatrac. They have 513 gears, precision, and drivetrain direct. Running Detroit lockers, superior axle shafts. They go out to American racing wheels and some 37-inch BFG tires. We took the truck to 4-Wheeler Supply in Phoenix, Arizona, removed all the independent suspension and factory suspension parts, axles, and modified it. Put in a full external or internal cage, bed cage, narrowed the bed in the back. The truck was then taken to TRD, where we put a TRD supercharger on it. We went to Marlin Crawler and put a dual transfer case setup. So we have a 4-to-1 transfer case reduction box in front of the stock Toyota transfer case. So we can get down to 220-to-1 and really creep along over the rocks. The cab's outfitted with a nice set of Corbeau seats, the leather ones, keep us comfortable for the long drives as well as the days on the trail. We also mounted a worn winch, a 9.5 XP, in the front Poison Spider custom bumper. We also mounted some worn lights on the front bumper and on a light bar in the back of the cab. The idea was to give the truck kind of a race truck look, even though we were going to be doing mostly mud and rock crawling type trails, just give it the aesthetic of a go-fast truck. After we got most of the work done on the truck, we took it up to Santa Rosa in California to Flowmaster, put on a Flowmaster exhaust, and we got some rhino lining done on the truck, inside, on the floor, and on the bed sides. The interior of the truck has a lot of amenities that most trail rigs don't have, but we figured with the long drives we had to keep the boss occupied. So we put in a front and rear cameras on the axles, as well as an infrared camera with a monitor above the rear view mirror. It's good for trail ride. You can also record stuff to the video cameras, and the boss just likes to check out the axles and stuff moving around as you're hauling down the highway. One of the reasons we went with a mini truck like a Tacoma this year is because last year's truck was just too big and too heavy. The Ultimate Avalanche was wide, got a lot of body damage on the trail. It was heavy, didn't really get over all the obstacles we wanted it to, and it was kind of prone to breakage. This year's truck is lighter, faster. We're pretty excited about it to get it out on the trail.
Oh,
wasn't that interesting. That was something between a crawl and a bump and a little speed racing, and that was fun.
Something you'll notice when Rick's really getting on it on a steep hill climb or mud hole is the truck has this really wild, whining sound. What it is, it's a mixture of the Flowmaster exhaust, the supercharger, plus the rev limiter getting bounced off of. Put it all together and it makes for a pretty unique noise coming out of this truck. Body damage. We got a bunch of body damage. Nothing that we're really that concerned about because the truck was meant to go wheeling. It's not a show truck. Mechanical damage. A few things in the front axle, just stub shaft and some hubs, but nothing that we were really that scared about or worried about. We knew it would happen, we were prepared for it. We had hubs, we had axle shafts. Well, here's a few things that we got done to the truck. Our Poison Spider Customs bumper got a little bit of dents and dings, but it held on there for all the extreme winching. The American Racing Teflon coated wheels, they look good. We like that black look, we're not really chrome guys. And they hung tough. We got some scratches in them, but again, it's not a show truck. Our BFG crawler tires had no problems with them all week. They kicked butt, crawled over the rocks, dug us out of the mud. There's definitely some scrapes in them because we were getting on the rocks and getting on some gnarly trails, but we never lost air pressure due to the tires themselves. It's been a lot of work getting the truck done. We want to thank all our sponsors for helping us out, all our major sponsors, all the people that helped us out with product. The truck got beat up. We try to keep everybody happy, keep their names visible on the truck, and we can't wait for next year's Ultimate Adventure.
Many of the rigs you see on this year's adventure are using some of the latest top quality parts in four-wheeling, available through the sponsors of the Ultimate Adventure. This is the third year we've used BFG crawlers as our main tire for the UA. BFG used our 2002 event to get real-world feedback from the staff on the tire's performance. We mounted a set of 37s on the Tacoma, and as expected, it performed flawlessly. BFG also outfitted most other rigs on the UA with the crawler, yet not a single tire-related failure occurred. The crawler is ideal for extreme terrain, features an ultra-aggressive deep lug tread pattern, and proved to be one of the most puncture-resistant sidewalls of any tire BFG has offered. The powerful Warn 9.5 XP is designed for the serious off-roader who demands a winch that will perform under the most extreme conditions. No shortage of that on our Ultimate Adventure. The 9.5 XP produces 9,500 pounds of pulling power, along with the longest duty cycle and the fastest speed of any Warn winch. Its new high-output parallel motor makes 6 horsepower and uses 3-stage planetary gearing. We mounted our 9.5 XP on the Tacoma with a Poison Spider bumper and cruised through Ultimate Adventure problem-free. In fact, we have yet to see anyone smoke a Warn 9.5 XP. We've used Flowmasters on our past 3 UA rigs, the Ultimate Super Duty, the Ultimate Avalanche, and the Ultimate Tacoma. Sure, they increase horsepower by relieving back pressure, but most of all, we just love the sound. They're also beefy enough to withstand most of the bashing around we give them, which we do on a pretty regular basis. The pitch from Flowmaster about less interior noise but still plenty of exterior sound was right on target. The 3.5-inch polished stainless steel exhaust tip is cool as well. We picked up our precision gears, Detroit lockers, and Superior shafts and had them swapped in and out of our Dynatrac axles at Drivetrain Direct. TracTech's Detroit locker is the epitome of install and forget. With the positive locking of both our front and rear differentials, and the ultimate Tacoma, we could just point and shoot over obstacles without switching on or off levers or buttons. Our Avalanche carried Detroit's and the pumpkins of its Dynatrac axles again this year and made the entire 5,700-mile trip without error. Tough Country has a new 5-inch suspension kit for Toyota Tacomas that will accommodate the new 33-inch all-terrain tires that we wanted to test. If you want to give your truck a wicked new look and improve the off-road ground clearance while retaining that stock ride quality, then this recipe is for you. We made nearly 3,000 miles with no alignment troubles, no rattles or squeaks, and plenty of gawkers who loved our Tough Country Tacoma. For the third straight year, we used Rhino linings for the outside and the inside of our trucks. In 2003, on our Avalanche, we used it to replace the pesky factory body cladding. While the benefits for the outside are obvious, the coating on the inside makes sense as well by substantially keeping the vibration and heat out of the cab area and making them more rigid and rattle-free. Even after Pewe wrinkled the rear taco fenders substantially, we were surprised to see the coating still hold on to the sheet metal. We picked up our first footwear sponsor this year with Rocky Boots. Now, this staff is not known for wearing safe footwear while wheeling, especially Rick Pewe. But probably the safest legs on the trip were Alan Huber's, who was wearing Rocky's ATV Quad Sport boots, which nearly went up to his knee.
Of the boots that Rocky let us use for the trip, I'm partial to these right here.
Jeff Nassy enjoyed the security of Rocky's steel-toed Alpha Force SWAT boot, while members of the video crew were happy with their 6-inch World Walkers. Chris Durham has been wearing his Rockies for years and swears by them. It's likely the staff has finally converted over to proper footwear, thanks to Rocky Boots.
Shift them so fast is just that quick. I mean, it's because in a matter of 30, 40 feet, we're in third gear already when we're going down the tracks. So, I mean, you got to be able to shift them. You got to be able to shift them quick.
One of the things that got the crowd loved about Bigfoot was the crab steering.
And superior handling can get drivers out of a jam.
Sometimes a monster truck driver will get in a situation where he's got to have some very quick maneuverability. You hit the rear steer and it increases that kind of turning radius and he can steer clear of danger.
Monster trucks are even capable of forward rollovers, as seen at a 1985 Indianapolis, Indiana monster truck show when Bigfoot driver Jim Kramer pushed a steel frame chassis to its absolute limit.
It's the finals, you know, we want to win this thing. The back end hit a car, knocked me up. I'm going toward the stands. And the truck straight up and down on the front wheels. People talk about time slowing down. In a stressful situation, something happens. To me, it was like 5 minutes, even though it happened in a split second. I was able to wiggle out of the truck before it caught fire, and I come out of there with some glass in my eyes, and that was it. But I was safe.
Jim Kramer is a very lucky man to have been able to walk away from that.